Welcome to our first official Glowing Hour episode. We are currently trying to figure out what the hell to say at the beginning of these. We just spent a few minutes trying to think of something cute and clever, but everything sounded really cheesy. But if you have any ideas of how to open these episodes, would love to hear it. Yeah. But yeah, welcome to Glowing Hour. Today we have an Italian Moscow Mule, which is basically just amaretto instead of vodka, right? Is that what's in Moscow Mule? Or with...
Yeah, I think they make it with vodka.
Girl.
Or gin.
We've definitely made a Moscow Mule now.
I don't remember. I think it was vodka.
But whatever. Cute. Amaretto.
Amaretto is cute. It's also giving White Lotus. All about friendships.
Dude, I would order that.
Wait a minute. This is so good.
This is like a Shirley Temple, but not.
This is the dirty Shirley I was looking for.
This is a dirty Shirley, but no grenadine.
No sugar.
No sugar. You guys know what we're talking about, right? But anyways, we're talking about friendship today. If you did not see the first segment, we did basically friendship deal breakers and
when a friendship's gonna end.
Yeah, and how shitty friendship breakups can be. But in Glowing Hour, we wanted to hit just red flags. Things that maybe have piqued your attention in a friendship and you're thinking, do I still want to be friends with you?
Listen, like we said in the last episode, friendships are a relationship. And when you're meeting people, everyone has red flags. So, I mean, you know what I mean. Like there will be red flags in either type of relationship.
Yeah.
So
it's a matter of if you can move past them
yeah.
or if they all just piling up. Gotta go.
So we got a couple submissions. We asked if there were any red flags in friendships that you guys have seen. And here are a couple. So the first one, when you tell them they hurt your feelings and they tell you you're manipulative/mean. Girl, you're being manipulative.
Like, what do you mean? I just said what I was feeling and now you're turning it around on me. Why are you gaslighting me?
Yeah.
Odd.
I think that like invalidating or not even allowing somebody to tell you how you feel, like A, you obviously can't take any criticism. B, you're not listening.
Also, you don't have to agree with them to validate.
You don't have to.
You could be like, I'm so sorry that I made you feel that way.
Well, I don't agree with that.
What can you say? If you don't agree with what they're saying, I'm so sorry that you feel that way, that you made me feel that way, that I've caused this emotion in you. I don't know.
I feel like because that's not, then I wouldn't apologize because I feel like that's a fake apology.
So don't apologize, just say,
I don't think that I agree with you. My stance on this is X, Y, and Z. And then you have a conversation. But I definitely don't like turning it on to like the other person of like, sorry that I made you feel that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then also if you don't agree, then like, I think there's a polite way to just like end that conversation, you know, instead of just saying,
You're mean
and you're being manipulative. Like it just then makes it sound like
it muddles the conversation.
Totally. Because
then it turns into, what do you mean? Like now you're mad that they said something. Like,
now, like you're mad that I just expressed how I felt.
Yeah. And then you have to defend yourself. Or
also though, be sure that you're expressing yourself in a way that's not, it's very like I statements. Like I felt that this thing that you did made me feel blah, blah, blah. Or I felt it made...
See, if someone comes at you with that, it's a lot easier to not say the whole, I'm sorry I made you feel that way. Well, I mean, I feel like sometimes it is genuine if someone does say that. Do you know what I'm saying? I guess it depends on how deep the situation is.
I don't know. I've learned that it doesn't just because then there's no, like, accountability.
You don't think so?
No. Because you're saying, like, I guess I get what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying? You're like, I'm sorry I made you feel... Like, I'm genuinely sorry that I made you feel that.
Yeah.
Not in a way of, like...
But, like, what is it that you're exactly sorry for?
Well, maybe, like, it keeps going, you know?
Yeah,
whatever
it should. That's what I'm saying. It should keep going.
It's not just I'm sorry I made you feel that way. Yeah. That's, like, okay, girl.
What I can't stand is when somebody says, like, I'm sorry that what I said made you feel that way.
All specific.
You know what I mean? Like, it's like, yes. It's like what I had, like, what the person said to me is the problem, not, like, them saying it is the problem. You get what I'm saying?
Dude, nuances.
Anyway,
moving on to the next
one. They make fun of things that make you happy or that you like. That's one that like I feel I have seen in a lot of like people that they talk about like red flags in friendships. who are you friends with that are like making you feel that way?
What is the context of that? Like,
I have
if
one.
they're okay, go ahead.
Like when they
This is me hella specific,
hella
isn't
personal.
it?
When they make you feel like the stuff that you like is not cool. Like or
Give
like
me
the
an
stuff
example.
that they like is like
Cooler.
cooler and above you.
Like, oh well, I don't really like Miley Cyrus, so I wouldn't get it.
Like, oh, you like, let's say Miley Cyrus, right? And then
Okay.
they're like, but like Dua Lipa has been doing it for blah 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 blah. Like, you know what I mean? Like some stupid shit.
I mean, and if it was that, I wouldn't care.
I'd be like
it
Miley
would be us
Cyrus
just
is the one
disagreeing
way.
on artists we like. But if it was a deeper conversation
Yeah.
of like, all the music you like is trash and the music I like is better.
yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I've had that happen to me.
I mean, Taylor Swift, she said it all in what's that song?
What song?
Where she was like, much cooler than me. Do you know what I'm talking about?
It's
She's talking about Harry, I think.
oh girl.
I don't know, but whatever. Don't listen to me. If you know what I'm talking about, nice.
The real Taylor stans will be out there.
The real Taylor
The real
fans know.
Swifties. Again, like that, just I don't understand. That's a fucking huge red flag.
It's a huge red flag, and I think it is something that could be like, do you realize that you kind of
Sound like a cunt?
make
far.
me feel like my interests are boring? And then if they come at you and say, why are you mean and belittling and what would you say, meaner?
You're mean and manipulative.
Why are you mean and manipulative? Why are you so mean and manipulative? It's like,
I
gotta
think
go.
it just
like those two
becomes-
together.
gotta go.
Canceled.
I also think like we said, we don't have to all be on the same page.
Yeah. Like if you like Dua Lipa more than Miley, go ahead.
Go ahead. But I can't like you can still sit here and listen to a fucking Miley song. You don't have to be like, ugh, this is so
Dude,
awful.
This reminds me, one time I was doing like this little pop-up thing with an ex-boyfriend and it was an empty store. So we're playing music I liked, right? And it was Miley Cyrus. Miley Cyrus playing, and then these group of like cool kids walk in and they're like, who the fuck is playing Miley Cyrus right now? And I was like,
I completely felt victimized there.
I was like,
Oh. You said blank. Change the station.
I think
what are you
for
playing?
real, it was on my phone though. I think I went, oh my bad, this is like a bad playlist. I made up some excuse, but they saw right through me. They were like, right, like we know you like Miley Cyrus.
You're like,
bitch."
so what about it?
And it was
That's growing into adulthood, just being like, you don't like it?
No,
Would
for
you
real.
like me to change it because this is my playlist? The red flag was there though. You can't be friends with them.
I can't be friends with them. They don't like Miley like that.
Also, when they talk hard shit about people they claim to be BFFs with, I have a lot. Sorry, LOL, because I guess they also submitted a couple more.
Dude,
Yeah, I mean, I talked about this kind of in the last.
gossiping.
Gossiping is just a huge fucking red flag, I think.
Mm-hmm. I think it's okay to vent.
Yeah, I
Venting
think there's
is
a difference.
okay.
There's a difference.
Venting is okay because venting comes from a place of love, I think. Like, not necessarily like
I'm like, sometimes I will vent with a sprinkle of talking shit.
annoyed.
But it's annoyedness. And
it's good to
honestly,
get that out.
I think all of the times that I've like ever vented and I said something, not necessarily, I don't think I'm ever saying something like,
Fuck them.
fuck them. Yeah, it's more of like, I wish they would change this
Mm-hmm.
because it's bothering me, or like I'm annoyed by it or whatever. It's something that I actually would say to their face. I think that's the key factor also.
Good point.
It's something that you would want to have a conversation with somebody about.
Mm-hmm.
Gossiping is like making rumors or talking about them behind their back where like they would feel,
Like you're exposing something
yeah, not nice.
private.
I also don't understand the gossiping thing because like, especially if these people know each other, like they're at least like, maybe they don't have to be best friends, but they know each other and they'll maybe be at one of your events together. They know that you've been saying shit about this other person.
Yeah.
They're like, it's kind of embarrassing. Like, why are you talking all this shit and you're like having this person here? You know?
Yeah. It just makes
Weird.
you look shady. For sure.
You look shady.
Yeah, like the person gossiping looks shady.
Yeah. Next one. Always agreeing with everything you say, no matter what. Interesting.
No, I'm dead on that. Always agreeing? A yes man if I've ever seen it.
A yes man.
I'm speechless.
Wait, this one's like, yeah, this one's mind-boggling to me.
Like,
I'm shook.
I've definitely probably been a yes man in phases of friendships or of my life, but then I just get over that shit real quick because it's like, all right, the gag is up.
The gag is up. I can't do this for that much longer, girl.
I can't pretend we agree about everything.
Yeah.
And like we said, it's just not cute to agree on everything with your friends. Like, it's fun to have a little tiff.
I think it's
a little drama.
I think it's also kind of like the equivalent to like in a relationship, in like a romantic relationship, when you're first getting to know somebody and they're love bombing you.
It becomes codependent too.
You think so? I think
so.
I think it's like love bombing, where like they're trying to show you all of their good shit, and then later like they'll fucking flip a switch.
Me? I was like, and then I get over it.
And then I'm like,
I flip a switch. Yeah, I think the codependency probably just comes from like, but we agree on everything.
Yeah.
But we agree on everything. But like, we're best friends. What do you mean?
What do you mean? Yeah.
It's like, girl, what do you mean? What do I mean? You've been lying about everything you agree on. Because then those lies come out. You talk to their lifelong friends or friends' parents, whatever, and be like, yeah, they love fucking poems. Because I love poems, you know? They told me they really love poems. That's what we agree on. And they'd be like, what the fuck? I've never seen them read a poem in my life. And you're like...
They don't even read.
They don't?
I've never seen them open a book.
They fucking hate reading. And you're like...
Huh.
Weird.
Why are you being weird?
That's so odd.
Okay, next one. They're shamelessly rude to their mom in front of you. Wait, this one's really funny.
That's really fucking...
That's specific, but I think it's like to the disrespecting other people in front of you.
Yeah.
But honestly, like the mom factor... That's fucked.
That really goes heavy for boyfriends, I gotta say.
That's, yeah.
Like, heavy, but friends, too.
I can also see that, yeah. If you're treating your mom like shit in front of other people.
Like, what are you doing behind closed doors?
But no, actually, though, because I feel like that's something that I feel like I experienced as a child. Like, as, like, a kid.
Like,
going
red
to
flags of...
Yeah, like, going into my friends' houses, and if they were really mean to their mom, I was like...
Ah! Disrespect.
Like, I was probably not the nicest all the time to my mom.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
But I would never be like, you know what I mean?
It was all in the eye look. You guys missed it. No, I get you. Yeah.
Like, I think I remember having like a friend who, like, her mom gave her everything. I literally mean everything. And she was so rude and catty when she didn't get something she wanted.
That's just bad parenting right there.
Girl, you're right. But also, like, I don't want to be friends with you.
You're going to grow up to be that
shitty person.
So.
But so true. I think that goes like into disrespecting others. I mean, we will kind of get into it in our own list. But the next one, they're happy to celebrate with you, but aren't available when you're going through it. Oh, that is a good ass fuck one.
Oh my god, let's have a good party. Oh, you're sad. I gotta go.
This one hits home for me. I feel like I had a group of friends at one point where I felt like it was always a good time to go out and like get together. We had like a lot of fun times, but then in times of like support, if I ever asked them to support me, it was very like, even if they were trying their best, I feel like it just wasn't adequate for like the kind of support that I was wanting. And I feel like I showed them level of support that I was looking for, and it was just not reciprocated. And it felt like anytime that anything serious happened, it was kind of like a brush off moment, like, oh, I'm so sorry you're sad kind of thing.
They're like, get over it, have a drink or something.
Like, yeah, or like, don't be sad, like, it's okay kind of a thing. But it was very much in that like realm. It was like there was no extra conversation about like, you know, what's making you feel that way, or like,
do you want to talk
about it, you know,
or just like leaving the space,
nothing,
like just silence or something, like, I'm sorry, and leaving you like a window to be like,
even, like there, like this,
it was just like, get over it, cool.
Like, you're depressed, like shit like that. Like, what? Whatever they said, with like, it was like a response of being like joking, funny to like maybe lift my spirits, but it was like not the fucking right time.
They were doing their best, it just wasn't good enough, and
that's what I'm gonna leave it as.
Yeah.
But anyway, yes, I agree. When they only want to celebrate. Next one, isn't excited for you when good things happen. This is like a similar sense, the opposite. This, you know, gives jealous friends, or jealous acquaintances, I should say, because those are not your friends. That's one thing that I don't understand in friendships, is like, either the competitive like nature, or like when people don't see each other as like, if you're up, I'm fucking up. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that comes from the insecurity that like they're gonna get left behind or something.
Yeah.
But then, you know, I don't know, that's not a good friend.
I think prefacing just in general the whole conversation, I think some people just don't know how to be good friends.
That's a huge conversation.
So being friends who've had these red flags, that's why we're saying it's not over. Like, some people just need help. And that's okay. Like, don't you want someone to tell you when you're kind of like fucking up and you don't realize it? Like, you want that grace to be told like, hey, maybe you should do this instead in a nice way. And yeah, I just don't think it's fair to like do any of these things. Obviously, the red flags are awful, but if it's like the first sign that they're showing you something is maybe a little like, you're not that good of a friend right now, or you're hurting my feelings, it doesn't mean it's over. It just means maybe there's a conversation, or
absolutely,
like slyly hoping you can let them know. I don't know.
I guess to that point, like, people just like in relationships, like romantic relationships, people come with like past experiences of friendships and whatnot. So when you bring in a new friendship in with a certain person, they're bringing a lot of like old baggage of friendship as well. And not to say that it's your job, but sometimes like having those corrective moments of like, I don't appreciate what you said, or like, I think that when you bring stuff up like this, it hurts my feelings. It can go really well, and it could kind of create a new pattern way of like having a friendship for this person. And they just needed to learn that because that's all that they knew before.
Yeah.
So like, to that, like, no one has to be a bad person, no one has to be a bad friend, but sometimes it takes learning to be a good friend. And if you're already a really good friend, you could have a good influence on people. It's not your job, but it is your job to make sure that you're not being disrespected or feeling like victimized by this person, you know. So like, speak up for yourself and whatnot. But yeah, next one, not active listening. This one's my personal favorite.
That one's, I mean, it goes with the other ones of just like, they're just not there. They're just in their own fucking world, and they're just like, oh, bummer. Wow. Anyway, so me. Like, I feel like it's kind of how a conversation would go.
Yeah, like the selfishness and stuff.
Yeah.
I also feel like in the same like way we talk about like, if you're not ready for a relationship, don't put yourself in one, kind of a thing. I think with not necessarily like not having friends, but like
don't have friends.
No, but like, don't go and hang out with somebody if you're not feeling like you can have this like reciprocal like communication and like hanging out and energy like flowing between one another. If you're not capable of doing that, because maybe you could be an active listener, but you're always just like distracting yourself with like hanging out and shit, like then that's not.
Yeah, it's something that some people just aren't good at. Something blanket statement. Some people are just not good at active listening, and it's harder for them. Like people have ADHD, or you know, it just is more difficult to fucking be like, yes, I'm here. Yes. I'm here. I'm trying. So like, if you do have struggles like that as a friend, you gotta let the people know so that they can be there for you, and that like, hey, I really want to talk to you about something. Are you available?
Like, yeah, are you available? That's also,
it's another
thing on like the other side of like making sure your friends, or making sure you know your friends don't owe you shit, you know, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And like asking for support when you need it in a way of like, are you available for me to, don't trauma dump or emotional dump.
And it doesn't
have
to literally every time you want to talk about something be like, hi, are you available? Like making an appointment or anything.
Maybe I should be asking you more. Hi,
no,
Sam, are you available
That's my
for
thing.
my conversation?
Like, I don't think it's like it has to be that deep unless it's like literally the middle of their workday and you know they're busy.
Yeah.
Of course, I think you should be like, hey, can I tell you something? Or I don't know, whatever. But if it's like over text and like you can get a response whenever about something, or if it just so happens like you get triggered when you're with them because something came up. Yeah. Unless you know it's something that they're like, I really don't want to hear about it. Then I feel like it's like free game. But yeah, be aware of that. That's like another thing. Like sometimes you just can't be a good friend when you're not emotionally
That's what
aware,
I'm telling
or
you. You're not there. You're not present.
yeah,
Being a friend is work. It takes
you
work.
just don't get all this shit for free.
So that was like most of the submissions, or all of them, I should say. And we made our own like little list of things that we found to be red flags. Some of those were within these submissions that we got. So we'll just be either quickly going through them, or you won't hear them.
Maybe we'll have something else to say. So I think belittling and invalidating.
We kind of spoke on
that. Gossiping, we definitely spoke on. General human behavior, which sounds just so vague, but we said like being rude or inconsiderate. So kind of like being mean to your mom.
Yeah. I think another example is like being rude to waiters,
yeah,
or like just having a general like
compassion
for people.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
A lack of effort or interest. I think that could be like a phase, because we definitely did talk about that earlier this week. And it was like a buildup of that issue. But if it's like a moment where you're like, okay, they just got married or got a new boyfriend, I'm giving them grace. But now it's like, okay, I gotta say something, or else it's gonna turn into a deal-breaking type situation.
Yeah. The lack of effort could also just be the lack of like, how do I say this? Like having a reciprocal conversation, I guess. Like if somebody just is self-centered and wants to only talk about themselves, like there's no effort to get to know you as like a deeper person. I think like that's a red flag, because then everything's just surface level or always about them. And I guess that's when you ask yourself, like, do I really want to be friends with this person?
Yeah. A lot of these you can use when you're making new friends also. It doesn't have to be people you've known your whole life. And now you're like, there's red flag.
Yeah.
Drained by their company or energy.
That one is very important, I think. And I think like a lot of people don't necessarily pay a lot of attention to it. But if you're feeling tired and exhausted after like hanging out with someone, also if you're like hanging out with them and you're doing something like extraneous, or like you guys drank wine and now you're sleepy, like that's not what I'm talking about.
Now you're sleepy.
Like I'm talking about like they just fucking talked your ear off about themselves.
Like when they leave, you're like, I'm
so tired. Like I don't think I can see them for another week.
It's not like, oh my god, we had the best time.
Yeah,
it's
if
like,
you're not
no.
leaving the situation feeling like, yeah, I'm tired, but like I had such a great night and I just loved having that time with them. And instead It's like, oh my god, I just wanted them to leave. Dude. Girl.
Oh man. Okay. These two I think go together. The competition and jealousy / not celebrating your wins.
Which we did talk about, the not celebrating your wins.
Yeah.
But competition and jealousy, I think a lot of people kind of like, also in movies, I feel like they put like this like, sometimes they put these little
like Euphoria, Maddie and...
Yeah, like those are not fucking friends.
No.
Those are like...
But it was high school. It's giving high school.
Yeah, but that's what giving high school. Like, you should not be doing that anymore.
Yeah, literally.
Friends do not compete. If you're feeling competitive, if like they just like got the biggest fucking deal of their life and you're not feeling excited for them, but instead you're like, oh my god, I wish that, like, that should have been me.
I deserve
what?
it.
Like, if they're winning, you're winning. Why can't we all just see it that way?
Agreed.
Yeah.
Bad influence. She's giving high school as well, but we got some younger listeners on here. Not that young, but maybe still got some of those friendships where they're just like egging you on to go out before an exam or before a big day at work. Let's not do that.
Yeah.
Don't guilt trip me to going out so that you feel better.
That can happen at any point in life. It's just like like for like young people.
I think you're easier to be influenced when you're younger.
I also think of this one, like I think of like for men.
No,
like some people.
Don't even get me on men. I was not even there.
But I was say
not even there.
Like
God.
A night with the boys, like you
shut up
are like allowing each other to
be
fuck
messy
around and be messy.
Why?
Don't do that.
You want friends who are gonna be like,
call you out, like,
that's
babe,
a bad
what the
idea.
fuck?
That's a
bro.
bad
Sorry,
idea.
not babe, bro.
No, babe. They need to be saying babe to each other.
We're not doing this.
Stand up. Get off of her.
Get off of her.
Like, y'all need to be saying shit. I'm sorry. I'm tired of y'all acting like bad influences.
So, bad influence. Next one, loyalty.
I mean, yeah, if you're not loyal to your friends, what the fuck are you?
I think that, correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like this one, I agree, but I also feel like it can be taken to an extreme.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were gonna go there.
I knew you were gonna say that.
I knew you were gonna say that.
But for real, like, I feel like codependent, like,
yeah, I mean, constantly agreeing with you, like we said. Loyalty to a degree, of course.
Like, like we said when we couldn't figure out what the fucking thing was. The saying was that last episode? In the last episode. But like, when someone's talking shit about your friend, you better motherfucking stand up for them.
I'm telling you, Real Housewives is the prime example of this shit. When they're beefing and then the friend group comes back and they're like, dude, she was talking shit behind your back, and they're like, well, what'd you say? And they're like, nothing.
Girl,
I didn't say anything.
Stand up.
It's like, well, you can tell me now. You're behind both of our backs right here. That's a bad one.
So loyalty in that way. I'm not meaning like if your friend's making a new friend and you're like, pick one of us. Like, don't do that.
I'm loyal to you.
Next one, communication and like feeling like you're walking on eggshells. Those are red flags if you can't have like open, honest communication with one another. And this kind of goes towards like if there's an issue
and they call you mean and
they call you mean and manipulative. I think
it's not funny. I'm really sorry. I keep laughing.
It's not
but
funny.
It's just like fucking ridiculous. It's just so ridiculous. Someone could come at you with you're being mean and whatever. Okay.
So like if they don't have the emotional maturity to have a conversation of maybe why there's differences or disagreements or whatever, I think that's a red flag as a person in general. Like you can't grow up to try to communicate what you're feeling, and it's not just like one-sided. Like you need to be able to help, or not help, but like be open to hearing the other side.
Just being dismissive is like,
it's just not. And then walking on eggshells is like if you feel like you can't say everything,
you can't be yourself,
or like you can't say the things you want to say because it might pop them off.
Just don't be friends.
Don't be friends.
Not respecting your boundaries. I think that's
huge.
Self-explanatory. Codependency or guilt tripping for having other friends. So that's similar to loyalty, like the flip side of it being too loyal. Feeling taken advantage of or used. So like when your friend just comes to you every time they're going through a breakup or
feeling down
or they're lonely and all they that's the only time they come to you. It's pretty shitty.
Yeah, I think that's a huge one. There's always like, what is that called? Like that trope? Is that what it's called? Like
trope.
The trope where like a girl gets out of a relationship and then she comes back to her friends. Red flag.
Red flag.
Not a good friend.
Like if they were just literally gone. Gone. And then they're like, hey,
you want to hang out?
Hey.
No,
like,
girl.
You're like, where have you been for 3 years?
Thought you died.
I thought you were gone, though.
Yeah. Next one, if they ignore you around certain people.
You're not cool enough to talk to right now.
Girl, why'd you even invite me?
Why am I here?
But also, like, yeah, if you feel like they are creating like a certain distance because somebody else is around, then they don't fully see you as like an equal to them or like as cool as this other person. And so why sitting around? Why sitting around here?
Not worth it. Lastly, we put no accountability, which I think goes with like the dismissive fucking behavior and lacking communication. I
think you're lacking emotional maturity. I think you're lacking good people skills. I think you're lacking how to be kind and compassionate.
Just lacking, babe. Lacking.
Get on it.
And honestly, a lot of these things you can notice in someone without them behaving that way towards you.
Oh, absolutely. That's why we're saying like talking or like general human behavior towards somebody else, like negative human behavior. No
accountability if they were to be like, oh no, like talking about another friendship or something with their mom and you're like, low key, you were kind of wrong.
You're rude.
And like they're like,
like, yeah, I think
like they never said they're wrong. You're kind of like,
I think most of all, it will probably show up not towards you at first, but just know that the way that they're acting towards other people, they're going to act towards you because they think it's okay. So,
but that's not to say people can't change. And, you know, we're all fucking growing and learning, and red flags are red flags for a reason. They're just something to wake you up.
Yeah.
Take a look at and be like, noted. But friendship breakups are hard. And
I think also like just not like telling somebody you don't want to be their friend anymore is so serious.
It's so intense. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
It's like, because you almost feel entitled to friendship once you have it. you're like, but this was forever.
Yeah.
Like, we literally said, like, no, this is forever.
I also feel like sometimes it doesn't matter if you were friends for 3 months or 3 years or like 10 years. I think it hurts all kind of the same sometimes. Depends on how strong the friendship was, you know?
Yeah.
And you know what? Sometimes people just fall off. And that hurts too. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the episode. The mini episode, I guess. Not so many.
We'll see if it's actually shorter.
But let us know how you like this new like format of having Glowing Hour be separate. Do you guys like having 2 episodes a week? Is it more fun to like break us up throughout the week or what? Just let us know. We're figuring out how to make this mini episode feel so complete with like an intro and an outro. But for now, just we're grateful that you guys are here and listening or watching. Go ahead and like leave us a review,
I mean, yeah, you could like.
I guess you could like subscribe to our YouTube channel or follow or subscribe to the Apple Podcast or Spotify, whatever you're on. Just keep us, on that
rotation. You're gonna miss our episodes if you don't follow us.
But that's it for this Glowing Hour. Cheers, guys.
Not the cheers.